As I told you yesterday, we were going to Daniel 3 today, and this is the well-known kids' story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they are thrown in the fiery furnace. But I want to focus on kind of just more of what's actually going on in the story, not just the details of the story, but what's really at stake here. Because you see, the reason Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego got in trouble was the fact that they would not bow down and worship this thing that the king had set up. And the king said, "Hey, you have to worship this." And they said, "No, we only worship the one true God." And so word got back to the king, and they're brought in before him, and he's saying, "Hey, I'm giving you one last chance. Bow down and worship this thing, or you're going to be thrown into the furnace." And their response was this: "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image you have set up." You see, their response is, our God is able. They have full faith that even in facing the death penalty, that God could save them, and that he would save them. I mean, just think about this amount of faith and the kind of relationship they would have to have with God to be able to know that he would do this. I mean, these are guys that in their childhood, in their youth, their nation was conquered. Their nation that looked to God and said that we follow the Lord, that was supposed to be God's people, was conquered. It was defeated. They were hauled off as slaves. They were made into eunuchs. That's Daniel 1. All these things that would make someone say, well, that God of those people, that God of the place I grew up, the God of my grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, the God of my ancestors, he must not be that powerful. He can't really do great things. But yet these guys, they knew him. And even in facing the death penalty, they were able to say, God is able. He can save us. And even if he chooses not to, even if he chooses not to intervene and save us, we still will not worship anybody else. And so I want to encourage you today, do you know that God is able? Do you have that faith? Do you have that relationship with him to be able to know that God is able and that he can rescue? He can rescue you. He can carry you through whatever it is going on in your life. Because you see, that was exactly what God did. Because as they said this, it made the king even more angry. And so he said, make the furnace even hotter. Make it hotter, 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 hotter. In fact, it was so hot that the guards who took and threw these men into the fire, the guards were killed by the flames, by the heat, just being the ones throwing these men in. But yet, after they were thrown in, the king looked, and he just saw them walking around inside of the furnace. And not just them, but he saw a fourth one with them, and he said, that fourth one, he looks like the Son of God. And he was overcome, and he came and he screamed, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come back out, come back out. And so they just walked out. They didn't even smell like smoke. Because God is able. And you know what happened in the end of the story? Instead of the king having an edict that everyone's to worship this golden image that he set up, he now has an edict that everyone is to worship Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's God, the one true God. And so, are you willing with your life to trust God in a way where in the end, he gets the glory, he gets the praise that he is due? This has been your word from the Word for today. I hope it's an encouragement to you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.